In 2026, millions of Americans will face a choice they never imagined: pay the electric bill or fill the prescriptions, keep the house or keep the car insured. Whether you're living on Social Security, disability, SNAP benefits, or just struggling to make wages stretch, these price shocks hit everyone on a fixed budget the same way. When you walk out of the grocery store with 2 bags and a $140 receipt, does it feel contained? In this video, I'm walking you through the 10 items set to skyrocket in 2026, why the increases are locked in, and what it means for your survival. Number 10. Coffee. And I know what you're thinking. Coffee always goes up, but this time is different. For 20 years, coffee stayed cheap because Brazil had perfect weather. That era is over. Brazil produces 40% of the world's Arabica beans, and for the last 2 years, they've been hammered by drought, frost, and heat that physically damaged the trees. This isn't a bad harvest. This is structural damage to the crop itself. Coffee futures jumped 70% since 2024, but here's what the news isn't telling you. The inventory is gone. Those massive stockpiles that cushion price spikes? Drained. When 2026 rolls around and you go to buy that bag of store-brand coffee, don't be shocked when it's $12 to $14. And if you're hitting the drive-thru every morning, you're looking at $6 to $7 for a latte. That's not a typo. For someone on a fixed income spending $30 a week on coffee, a 40% increase adds over $600 to your annual budget. That's real money coming out of Social Security checks. But coffee is just the warm-up. Wait until you see what's coming at number 1. Number 9. Beef. We've talked about this before, but the data keeps getting worse. The US cattle herd is currently the smallest it's been since 1961. Think about that for a second. We have 150 million more people than we did in 1961, but the same number of cows. The math doesn't lie. Ranchers have been selling off breeding cows because of drought and feed costs that doubled in 2 years. When you sell the mother cow, you don't get a calf next year, and it takes 3 years to rebuild a herd. The supply shock for 2026 is already baked in. It doesn't matter what happens with the economy, the cows physically don't exist. Ground beef, the cheap stuff families rely on, is heading towards $7 to $8 per pound by mid-year. Premium steaks like ribeye? Forget it. Those could hit $20 per pound. A family spending $60 per week on meat in 2024 is now looking at $90 for the same amount. We are watching beef transition from a staple to a luxury item in real time. And here's the kicker. If new tariffs hit beef imports from Canada or Mexico, that imported supply that keeps prices in check disappears. When protein costs rise 40% in 3 years, that's not inflation. That's a fundamental shift in what the American family can afford to eat. Number 8. Prescription drugs. Despite every political promise to control costs, the trend here is one direction: up. Prescription drug prices rose 35% between 2019 and 2024. Last year alone, over 5,000 drugs saw price increases. For 2026, manufacturers have already announced hikes for 350 more medications. The pain hits hardest for brand-name drugs treating cancer, diabetes, and heart conditions. New oncology medications routinely launch at $150,000 per year. Biologics like Humira or Enbrel cost $50,000 to $80,000 annually at list price. But here's what nobody's telling you. Even generics, which used to be the safe harbor for retirees, are rising due to manufacturing consolidation and supply chain failures. A generic that cost $10 a few years ago might now run $25. For a retiree on fixed income taking 4 or 5 medications, the cumulative impact is crushing. A monthly spend of $200 in 2020 could easily hit $450 per month in 2026. That's over $5,000 per year. When you're choosing between medicine and food, that's not a healthcare system. That's a shakedown. The pharmaceutical industry operates with zero competition in many drug categories. They set the price, you pay it, or you go without. Number 7. Veterinary care. If you have a dog or cat, you've noticed vet bills doubling. You take your pet in for an ear infection and walk out $400 poorer. Here's why, and it should make you angry. Private equity firms have quietly spent billions buying up independent veterinary clinics. They now control nearly 30% of the market. The same Wall Street funds that bought up starter homes during the housing crash are now buying pet hospitals. And when Wall Street buys your local vet, they do one thing: raise prices aggressively. They know you don't price shop when your dog is sick. You don't negotiate. You pay whatever it takes to save them. And they are monetizing that love. Analysts project another 12 to 15% increase in veterinary costs for 2026. Average visits that cost $250 in 2023 are pushing $350 to $400 in 2026. Emergency surgeries that ran $2,500 are now $4,000 or more. We're entering an era of economic euthanasia. That's a brutal term, but it's real. Families putting pets down not because conditions are incurable, but because treatment costs $5,000 and they don't have it. This is corporate consolidation destroying affordability in the most heartless way possible. Number 6, your water bill. Your water bill is about to get a shock in 2026, and most people don't even know it's coming. Two forces are colliding here. First, American water infrastructure is genuinely ancient. We're talking pipes laid down when Calvin Coolidge was president. They're bursting, leaking, and failing. But here's what's pushing 2026 specifically. The EPA just set strict new limits on PFAS, those forever chemicals, in drinking water. That's good for your health. That's bad for your water bill. The technology to filter PFAS out costs billions. Granular activated carbon, reverse osmosis, ion exchange, all of it expensive. And who pays for the new filtration plants? You do. The impact is uneven across the country. California water utilities like Cal Water and San Jose Water are implementing 2.8 to 3% increases starting in 2026. That might sound modest until you realize it's on top of increases that happened in 2024 and 2025. Over 4 years, California customers could see total increases exceeding 12 to 15%. But here's what's different. In some communities building dedicated PFAS treatment plants, the costs are staggering. One North Carolina utility is paying $134 million for 2 filtration plants. That gets passed straight to customers through rate hikes far exceeding what you're seeing in California. The Fayetteville, North Carolina water system, and systems like it nationwide, are facing infrastructure investments of billions of dollars, and those don't spread evenly. Some water districts in areas with high PFAS contamination are looking at double-digit rate increases, potentially 15 to 20% or more, while other regions see something closer to single digits. You can stop drinking coffee, you can cut back on beef, you cannot stop flushing your toilet or washing your hands. This is the ultimate captive market, and 2026 is when many districts are actually implementing these rate increases that have been sitting in the regulatory queue since 2024 and 2025. Number 5, digital subscriptions. Remember when cutting the cord was supposed to save money? Cancel cable, get Netflix for $8, they said. Welcome to 2026, where your streaming stack costs more than cable ever did. Every major platform is hiking prices this year. Netflix went from $15.49 to $17.99 for standard plans. Disney Plus jumped from $10.99 to $13.99. Spotify, Amazon Prime, YouTube Premium, all up double digits. But here's what they're not telling you. States are starting to slap specific taxes on digital goods. Vermont, Maine, and others are adding 5 to 8% on top of subscription costs. And have you noticed the ads? You're paying $15 per month to watch commercials. If you sit down and add up cloud storage, music, movies, gaming passes for a family of 4, it's easily hitting $150 per month. That's $1,800 per year of after-tax income vanishing into the digital ether. And it gets worse. These companies are training you to accept price increases every 6 months. They raise it $2, you grumble, but don't cancel. 6 months later, up another $2. Death by 1,000 cuts. If what you just heard concerns you, hit that subscribe button now, because we're tracking every price shock hitting your budget in 2026, and you need this information to plan ahead. Number 4, electricity. But honestly, we should call this the AI tax. Your electric bill is about to get a shock in 2026, driven by a factor most consumers don't even realize: the explosive growth of artificial intelligence. Residential electricity prices are up 28% since 2020. In 2025, the average price passed 16 cents per kilowatt hour, with states like California and Hawaii near 30 cents. Utilities are requesting rate hikes of 10 to 20% for 2026. Aging grids and extreme weather contribute. But here's what nobody's telling you. The new pressure is massive data centers built to power AI. A single AI query uses 10 times the electricity of a Google search. Training these models requires data centers the size of football fields, millions of servers running 24/7, generating massive heat, needing massive cooling. A single large data center consumes as much power as 50,000 homes. And here's the problem. The US power grid is at capacity. We're maxed out. So utilities are scrambling to build new transmission lines and power plants to feed these data centers. Guess who pays for that infrastructure? You do. The utility companies are spreading the cost of these upgrades across the entire rate base. You are subsidizing the AI revolution with your monthly electric bill. In states like Virginia, Texas, and Georgia, where these data centers cluster, rate hike requests of 15 to 20% are already filed for 2026. If rates rise another 15%, the average household bill jumps by $600 per year. In hot climates like Texas or Florida, retirees could see summer bills topping $350 a month. And unlike other inflation, this doesn't go down. Once they raise rates to build the grid, those rates stay up forever. This is the AI tax, and nobody voted for it. Number 3, auto insurance. Premiums rose 26% nationally between 2021 and 2024. In states like Michigan, Florida, and Nevada, average premiums now exceed $3,000 to $4,000 per year. Insurers are filing for another 15 to 25% increase for 2026. But the real story isn't the price, it's the rejection. In states like California, Nevada, and New York, major insurers are refusing to write new policies. Or they're quoting go-away prices, $5,000 a year to insure a Honda Civic. Why? Because modern cars are computers on wheels. A fender bender that used to cost $500 to fix with a hammer now costs $4,000 because you cracked a LiDAR sensor and the cameras need recalibration by specialized technicians. Add higher medical costs, a shortage of skilled mechanics, and rising insurance fraud, and you have a perfect storm. If you have a teenage driver, adding a 16-year-old to a policy can push annual costs to $8,000 or $10,000. We are creating a class of uninsurable drivers, people who literally cannot legally drive to work because the insurance costs more than the car. This forces impossible choices. Some raise deductibles dangerously high, gambling they won't need coverage. Others drive illegally without insurance just to get to their jobs. When basic mobility becomes unaffordable, that's not an insurance problem. That's a societal breakdown. Number 2, health insurance premiums. Now we move from painful to devastating. Premiums for ACA plans rose an average of 6% last year, but that average hides real suffering. States like Arizona and Nebraska saw jumps of 13 to 20%. For 2026, insurers are filing for another round of 18 to 26% increases. If you're between ages 55 and 64, in that gap before Medicare eligibility, this is a financial emergency. Under current rules, insurers can charge older adults up to 3 times more than younger adults. A 60-year-old couple could easily pay $25,000 per year in premiums alone. That's a mortgage payment. In some places, that's 2 mortgage payments. Even with subsidies, many are paying over $1,000 per month just for the privilege of having insurance. Why is this happening? Because medical cost inflation is outpacing everything else. Hospital fees, chronic disease treatments, 6-figure specialty drugs. Insurers pass 100% of those costs directly to you. And here's what nobody's telling you. The system is designed to extract maximum revenue from the age group most likely to need care. You're paying peak premiums right before Medicare kicks in because insurers know you have no choice. For many in the pre-Medicare gap, the question isn't whether they can afford insurance, it's whether they can afford to stay in the US healthcare system at all. Some are looking at medical tourism, others are rationing care, skipping preventive visits, gambling they'll make it to 65 without a major health event. When insurance premiums consume 30 to 40% of a retiree's fixed income, that's not healthcare, that's wealth extraction. Number 1, housing cost. The single biggest threat to your financial survival in 2026 is the total cost of housing. And I'm not talking about mortgage rates. I'm talking about the hidden triple that kills monthly budgets: insurance, taxes, and maintenance. But here is where the American dream splits in half. We are looking at a red zone and a green zone. In the green zone, you have states like Florida. Florida saw significant insurance relief in January 2026. Governor DeSantis announced major rate reductions, with Citizens Property Insurance dropping rates by nearly 9%. New insurers are entering the market. But here's the trap. Even if your insurance bill dropped 9%, maintenance costs exploded by 35 to 40%. That roof repair that cost $12,000 in 2020, it's now $18,000 to $22,000. HVAC replacement doubled from $5,000 to $10,000. Materials up 40%. Labor up 35%. So that insurance savings you just got, it's already gone, eaten by the one expense you can't avoid when your water heater dies or your roof starts leaking. If you are in the green zone, the bleeding might have slowed, but it didn't stop. But if you are in the red zone, it's a different story. Look at California. The largest insurers are raising rates again. Mercury is implementing 8% hikes. State Farm got approval for 17% increases. In wildfire zones, premiums are up 60%. Look at Louisiana. Some properties are uninsurable at any price. And it's not just insurance, it's property taxes. Local governments are broke because downtown office towers have crashed in value, so they are reassessing your home to make up the difference. Then there are HOA fees. Following the Surfside condo collapse, new safety laws mean owners are getting hit with special assessments of $20,000 up to $80,000. That's a bill that can wipe out a decade of savings overnight. Run the math. A higher insurance premium, a tax hike, a special assessment. That's an extra $500 a month just to keep the home you already own. Renters aren't safe either. Landlords face the same pressures, and they pass 100% of that cost to you. For a senior couple on Social Security, if rent rises another 10% in 2026, they could be spending 60% of their total income just on housing. You can cut back on coffee. You can cancel Netflix. You cannot cut back on housing without becoming homeless. This is the wedge that is forcing millions of Americans to ask, can I afford to live here anymore? So, what does all of this mean for you? If you add up the increases in these 10 categories, a household spending $500 per month on these essentials in 2024 could easily spend $700 by late 2026. That's $2,400 per year in vanishing income, money that has to come from somewhere. And for those on fixed incomes, it's coming from savings, from delayed medical care, from skipped meals. The strategies? They're limited. Kill the subscriptions. Loyalty pays zero dividends in this economy. And for housing, look at that map again. If you are in a high-cost red zone, ask the hard question. Is it time to relocate to a green zone before prices rise there too? I am tracking every one of these shifts as they happen. The workarounds, the loopholes, the states where you can still survive. If you want to stay ahead, make sure you're subscribed. Tell us in the comments which of these increases is hitting you hardest. We'll keep tracking the trends. This is EconoNova. Stay sharp.